Okay, looks like we're live. Welcome everyone to this all-new episode of Healthier, Happier You. I'm Dr. Alan Chong, the spine coach. I'm a chiropractor, a life and health coach, and a speaker, and of course, a visionary leader. And obviously, I'm your host of Healthier, Happier You. It's an all-new health talk show about real people and real health issues with real solutions. For over 27 years, of practice, and I still actively practice now today, that what I found is that people often get better, but what they often don't know what to do is to stay better, to stay healthy. They want to get healthy, you want to get healthy, but to stay healthy, that can be a different matter. Healthier, Happier You is all about real life stories like our special guest today, Carrie Roldan, healthy lifestyle tips, and ways to get healthy and to stay healthy. And when you stay healthy, of course, you'll naturally be a healthier, happier you. You can find out more about me at thespinecoach.com. Now, if you're joining us live, welcome, or in replay, welcome. Please be sure to post your comments. That's one of the great things about showing up live. And even afterwards, I monitor comments. So we monitor comments and we'll comment anytime. We'd love to have you as part of the discussion and the engagement. Now make sure, later on the show, stay tuned for my weekly healthy lifestyle tip coming up later in the show. And we'll be watching for your comments too. Now, again, thank you for joining us today. Carrie is, I'm going to introduce Carrie in just a minute here, but what I want to tell you is about the theme of the show today. I'm so excited to have, I call her Run Yourself Happy, Carrie Roldan, on the show today. But before I introduce her, the theme today is Run Yourself Happy. Run Yourself Happy. I thought, wow, I got to hear this. I want to hear the complete story because it's not what most people really think about. In fact, to be honest, I don't like running. I really don't. Carrie's going to give it to me, but I don't like running. So that's just the honest truth. Now, Run Yourself Happy, the life practice to change your life is what we're going to talk about today. So I did some research. Organized running, so we're talking about races and such, 10Ks, 5Ks, whatever, marathons, has record numbers turning out right now. And the numbers of women runners has now exceeded men. In fact, in about 2010, that number switched. So running, serious running, we'll call it, people that finished races and did times and timed runs, has in 2013, for example, let me give you some numbers in the US, 10.1 million females to 8.2 million males in 2013 finished timed races. Now, that's not really what we're going to talk about today. We are going to talk about some of the health benefits, I think. Carrie's going to surprise me, I know. The health benefits, for example, runners had far less risk of high blood pressure, unhealthy cholesterol profiles were down, diabetes is down, and heart disease compared to those of sedentary people. Well, you think, well, that's not new news. However, running and other cardio exercise has neurological benefits. You might not know this. And it may slow disease progression in diseases such as Parkinson's disease and other degenerative neurologic diseases. So that's kind of cool. So running alone and cardio exercises could do that for you. But that's not really what we're all going to talk about today. We're going to talk about Run Yourself Happy. So let me give you Carrie's bio. Carrie is a mom, a wife, a coach, an entrepreneur, avid runner, and I don't know where you have time for that, and the author of Run Yourself Happy, a 5-week training program to release anxiety, that's a good thing, and create space for a miracle. That's an even better thing. Carrie mentors mompreneurs who want more out of their lives, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Her signature coaching program, the Run Yourself Happy System, helps busy moms to stop feeling overwhelmed and overweight and instead run their way to a life that they're meant to be living. She's also the host of a weekly Google Hangouts on Air show, the Carrie Roldan Show, which tackles topics important to spiritually minded mompreneurs like herself. She's created a community called Business Besties to support, and you can find that on my website. We'll give you that later, to support other mompreneurs in living a balanced life. Carrie feels her calling is to support women to live into their ideal business groove. So please help me welcome the daring and the dashing Carrie Roldan.
Hey,
Carrie,
Alan.
welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me, Alan. Thank you for that awesome introduction and all your fancy statistics. Yeah, I knew a lot of those. I didn't know about the Parkinson's connection, but it totally makes sense.
Yeah, Parkinson's and other neurologic degenerative diseases. So it just makes sense, and I understand is that it increases blood flow. Any cardiovascular exercise increases blood flow, which usually clears metabolites, toxins, gets things moving. And of course, coordination and balance and things I'm sure you're going to tell us about too.
Yeah.
So, welcome. You've launched your very own first book. So tell me about Run Yourself Happy, and what's the book all about? What's it all about?
Well, like you mentioned in the intro, it's a 5-week training program to release anxiety and create space for miracles. And it took me so long to come up with that subtitle because I had the hardest time condensing what I had put into this book. But that's what it really is. So I think if I could just like wrap it into a sentence, right? It's shifting from turning a run into what you talked about in the beginning, like, oh, I hate running, right?
Because I didn't say I hate running, but yeah, you took the words out of my mouth.
I hear that all the time. So it's because running has become punishment. Right when we were kids, I guess I'm not going to do this in a sentence, but I promise I'll get there. When we were kids and we played sports, or we were, in school PE, if you were late, you had to run. I did gymnastics, and if you misbehaved, you had to run or do push-ups. There sort of became this association with running and punishment. And so it's kind of natural that a lot of us don't like it. And then there's the other side of running and punishment, which is so many of us do it as self-punishment. We do it because we know we should do it. It's a really quick way to burn calories, and it's super effective. But the way we do it is we go out there with this mentality of like, I'm going to just burn off this spare tire, or this like self-punishment mentality. And what Run Yourself Happy is all about is shifting that. Is shifting from self-punishment to self-love. Shifting from a workout mentality to a practice mentality.
No, I find that very, very curious, is that, and I understand that. So tell us how you shifted, or how you can get us to shift that thinking.
So probably the best way to do that is to tell you how it happened for me.
Sure.
And the way it happened for me is that I was a runner my whole life. Since I was 14, I started running. I was good at it. I joined my high school cross-country team where I excelled. I went on to run competitively in college, and then immediately afterward began coaching other runners. So I started coaching at the high school level, and then I went to coaching collegiately, and along the way I got married and had children, and I had to stop coaching. So I was in my 30s when running stopped being a job for me. like showing up at practice stopped being something that I actually had to do every day. And it was
That's
at
a huge difference, isn't it? Was that a huge difference for you?
yeah, it was a huge difference because don't get me wrong, I always liked running, but there was always some sort of goal attached to it, right? It was about getting in shape for the season, or then it was about helping others get in shape for their season and reaching their highest potential as an athlete. But suddenly I was a mom who just wanted to be in shape. And that was a different mentality. So that was the first time in my life I had to ask myself, do I want to run? Do I like running?
Sure. Yeah.
And for a while I didn't. I got in shape in other ways. Running was not convenient for me. I was doing Jillian Michaels DVDs in my living room. I was doing P90X because I wanted to be fit, and I knew working out and exercise was important. But it was during that time that I also struggled. I struggled with anxiety. I struggled it's transitioning to stay-at-home momhood has its own challenges. And I was in a personal struggle. I was not happy. I didn't know what my purpose was. I felt very lost. I think I had a common struggle of a lot of moms, which is this just a mom syndrome. The idea that like, oh, I'm just a mom. How am I going to? I felt like I had more to contribute than just raising my kids, but then struggled with the idea of just raising my kids. Of like, oh gosh, what a horrible thing to say. That's such a noble endeavor. So anyways, it was during that time that I recognized I need running. I have to do it. That it affects me. It affects my happiness. It affects my ability to think clearly, and that there's something to this beyond the workout. I recognized when I took it away from my life, I recognized that it was absolutely part of my happiness practice.
Right. So that sounds like it was almost an epiphany or something, or at least it was a gradual kind of realization. So tell me how you have taken that to make running a practice that does what?
And I'm so sorry, I don't know if you can hear my phone's ringing, so please ignore
okay. That. You don't need to answer that.
I can't control when they're going to call. So how it becomes a practice, was that what you asked me?
How did it become a practice for you? And then, of course, you know, it became a book. You were inspired to write a book, obviously.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny because along this whole journey, right, I had become a life coach. And I had my initial clients were oftentimes, they were post-collegiate runners. So they were people who I used to coach as their college running coach, and now they were seeking me out for more personal issues. And so we would go running together. That would be our session, is we'd go on a run and we'd have our session. And sometimes we wouldn't. Sometimes we would meet, and I just started to recognize, wow, we are both so much more in our zone and so much more productive when we do this while running. And right. Meanwhile, I was reading several books about daily practices, and I was going through my own personal spiritual growth, and I started to do the same thing. I would take my personal spiritual growth and development practices with me out on my run. And when I did that, the magic started to happen. That's when it started to come together. And so that's what I write about in the book, is the power of taking that practice out with you, and the idea that running is meditation in motion. And there's some cool physiological reasons why doing those practices while in motion is like hyper effective. And right. So that's how it came to be.
So tell me, when you're running now in the actual, do you just set your mind up for that already, or pre-run you set yourself up? What do you teach people?
Yeah, so a little bit of both. So the way I lay it out in my book is I go into, there's 5 weeks, right? So it's sort of a progression. But just initially, the first thing that we need to do is make a shift, is to recognize, yes, there are health benefits to running. And I'm going out there to do something good for myself. But as long as I'm there, let's take a self-love mentality and let's take a little bit of practice with us. So the very first week in the program, besides actually there's some pre-work that you'll love, Alan, because it has everything to do with getting yourself into physical alignment. Because
Perfect.
one of the things, this is a little side note, but one of the things I hear so often is, oh, I used to be able to run, but now my knees don't let me. Or I used to love running, but now I can't. Or I get injured, or I get shin splints. And as you know, so much of that has to do, it's not running. It's running when you're not in proper alignment.
Big
Right.
thing, and that's what I work on with people. You're right. That's, I not only coach people, but here in Canada, I actually physically work on people and help straighten them out.
Right, because so there's a little bit of that in the book, which is basically get yourself an alignment practice. Whether you can actually go see Dr. Alan Chong, that would be fantastic.
Even online.
Exactly. But get yourself an alignment practice and recognize that that's an important part of your sort of pre-run activity, is that get yourself in alignment, right, physically. But like Alan talked about in the beginning, that's how I work with people, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. So setting an intention before you go out on the run. So get yourself in physical alignment and set an intention before you go out on the run. So a lot of the practices I offer in the book are intentions. But the first week is all about running relaxed, right? It's just the shift from like this, this hard running to just relaxed and at ease and allowing yourself.
So I'm gonna share something right here. Jeffrey Dodd says reasons why we work out, run, keep fit. It was absolutely part of my happiness, mental clarity. I love that, Carrie Roldan. Running is meditation, focus in action. Good summary there, Jeffrey. Thank you.
Yeah, and I have a hashtag for that, Jeffrey, because I tell that all the time. Running is meditation in motion, and so that my hashtag is meditation in motion, because absolutely
you go.
Not just running, cycling, walking, anything that you do where you're moving your both sides of your body simultaneously. Yep. It's meditative.
Cadence. There's a cadence practice, and then from that, what was your journey to create this? Because you had to experience this stuff and then put it down on paper.
Yeah. So that's funny because that's what I did. I mean, I feel like it's almost overused when people put something out in the world. They say I didn't create it, it came through me. But that's what happened, is I would go out on a run and I would just ask, like, all right. And remember, I was running myself happy. You don't write a book called Run Yourself Happy unless you have been decidedly unhappy and you need to run your own self happy. So that's where I started. I needed some help and some guidance, and I would go out on my run every day and just be like, okay, tell me what to do. And no kidding, a practice would come to me. And sometimes it was a practice that I had read about. I was reading May Cause Miracles. At the time I was reading, which is Gabrielle Bernstein. I was reading Brene Brown, which Daring Greatly. I was reading that at the time. And I also read a book called E Squared by Pam Grout, which is, oh my gosh, it's so fun, but it's all about thought experiments. And so I was sort of going through those things at the same time, and stuff would come to me, and I would take it out on my run, and no joke, something awesome would occur on my run, and I would come back, and I would write about it.
Good thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's how it happened.
So, tell us why you wrote it. It was more of a personal journey that you just need to document, and did you kind of have a feeling that this would benefit a lot of people?
Yes. So I knew immediately. So, I mean, I was asking, right? I was searching for my own purpose. I was in that space of like, I know I'm meant for something big, right? I felt this, I'm busting at the seams with potentials, with potential. I felt like I'm called to do something, and I know, right, my core values, I've got them written right up here. Energize, inspire, encourage, and integrity. And I was like, okay, that inspire, that energize, that like, how can I do that? How can I do that and make a big impact? And I actually was in the middle of writing another book at the time. I had this other book I've always wanted to be a writer. I've always wanted to be published. And I was working on this other book, and this one just kept whispering itself in my ear. And I kept saying, okay, that's good. That's like my good next book. And eventually it was like, hey, pay attention to me and write me right now. And it was when I committed to writing the book, well, then I was taking myself through these practices, and that's when, the purpose emerged. But absolutely, I knew from the moment it sort of came through me, okay, this is a big message that I need to share, and I can help a lot of people. And that's been scary. It's been scary, but it's been awesome.
Well, yeah, I mean, so far so good. I mean, I know you're so excited about that. Tell me how this is going to more specifically, how do you envision this program and book helping Run Yourself Happy, helping other people? It's more like, I think you've got a great vision. What is your vision for how this is going to help people?
Yeah, it's so funny. Someone asked me that today too, because initially I thought I was running the book. I thought I was writing the book for women who run. I thought that's who I was writing the book for. I thought it was like, hey, you already run, and here's some things that you can take out with you on your run. So far, the response to the book has been people who have read it because they are attracted to the title. They're attracted to the idea of, all right, I need to get myself a happiness practice. I need to do something, and okay, I'm willing to give it a try. I'm willing to read this book anyways. I'm curious about it.
That's fantastic. You think about it. I mean,
yes, and the overwhelming response has been, oh my gosh, thank you. Running was always punishment for me. Running was always something I didn't want to do. But now I can go out and I can enjoy it. And now I can do, like, it's just, it's so rewarding to hear that, right? To hear people say, I read your book and now I love to run. Now I do it regularly.
I think that is one of the joys of writing and publishing a book, right? And you're just in the early stages. Your book is just launching, and we're going to tell you, well, if you look on the showcase, actually, how can people get a hold of your book? I'll just quickly say, you can go to my website, thespinecoach.com, click on the tab, The Show, and there'll be all the information to link that, and Carrie's going to tell us just in a few moments here about some specials that she's offering about that, right? And they are pretty OMG specials, bonuses, correct?
Yes. Do you want me to tell you now or later?
You may as well tell us right after the weekly healthy lifestyle tip. It's like the commercial break, but it's not. It's all good stuff. So this week's healthy lifestyle tip is about fitness, as you might have guessed. Do something intentional and physical. Sounds easy, but that's kind of one of my definitions of exercise, is do something intentionally physical. So our challenge, of course, my challenge to you is to do something daily. It doesn't have to be intense. You don't have to go to the gym. That's why running is such a great, easy practice in that sense too. You don't need a lot of equipment. You need outdoors, like if you're in Southern California, fantastic. Here in Calgary, you might need some special circumstances in the snow and ice. But the Mayo Clinic states 7 benefits of regular physical activity. Running as such certainly qualifies for that. And they say aim for 30 minutes every day. 30 minutes of some type of regular physical activity every day. It has huge health benefits. Number 1, exercise combats health conditions and diseases, as we've already mentioned some of those already. So number 2, exercise controls weight. As I read these in my research, I thought, you know what, we could probably summarize those as 3 things, but I'll read them anyways. Exercise improves mood, boosts energy, number 4. Number 5 is it promotes better sleep. 6, you're going to like this one, puts the spark back into your sex life. And number 7, exercise can be fun. Well, you know what, Mayo Clinic, if you kind of summarized all those together, sex can be fun, yeah, all those, sleep can be good, energy, mood, weight. Aside from that, let's just say it's a lot of fun. It benefits a lot of things, and the quick summary is that a little bit of exercise every day is a lifestyle practice that you can put into place that will tremendously boost your health. All right, Carrie, I'm going to give you the opportunity to summarize. We've got a few minutes yet, but I do want to tell you to tell us about your launch and your benefits specifically, which can be found on my website again, www.thespinecoach.com, and you click the show page and you scroll down and find the Carrie Roldan episode, which is, of course, the current one right now, but if you're watching in replay, it'll be archived. You'll be able to find it, no problems there. Has the link to get your book, check out your program. It has all that. So tell us about it, Carrie.
Yeah, so I'll just be super brief because you guys know where to go. Also, Alan's got the Showcase app running, which I think is a new thing. But so I think on the side of your screen, you might be able to even click right there.
There's right.
Also, yeah, so there's a link in my lower third, but it's, well, it's not a link. It's funky, so don't even worry about it. But there are all kinds of gifts I have there for body, mind, and business. So some of them are exercise related, some of them are confidence related, but they're all awesome. And all you have to do to get the gifts is buy the book and tell me that you bought it. And when you click the link, you'll see how to do that. But yeah, it's super awesome. I'm so grateful to all of my partners who have just donated these really sweet gifts just because they believe in the message.
Yeah, be sure to take advantage of those because those are only going to be for the next few days, right, Carrie?
Oh, yes, so, thank you. Till Thursday.
And I'm sure you probably do something for these people watching in replay if they email and said, I saw you on Dr. Alan Chong's show, Healthier, Happier You. Carrie, please.
I might.
She just might do that for you folks. So anyways, yeah. But do that in the next short while, even today after the show.
Yeah, do it now.
Do it now. Yeah, but you're watching the show. They're watching the show. So that's a great tip. Carrie's Run Yourself Happy book and the bonuses that she's including right now about all kinds of, from her different partners that have contributed to make this a super special launch just before Thanksgiving. Of course, thank you to all those people, and of course to you, Carrie. We're not wrapping up yet. I'm going to give you 3 minutes to give us the quick summary of like the top 3 takeaways that you'd like to share with our guest today.
Okay. First, I'm going to itch my nose. So.
Sure.
Sorry. Okay, so I think that the takeaways that I really want you to have, or whether you choose to buy the book, I want you to do these 3 things. So here they are. This is what I encourage. Is number 1, get outside. It makes a difference. So if it is winter in Calgary, I don't know what you do when it's 20 below, but barring that, right? If you can get outside, do. It really makes a difference moving forward in the world, in the hot or the cold, but being outside in the world matters. And there's all sorts of research on that, the effects of being in nature. But there's something powerful about moving out of your living room and just forward through the world. It really makes a difference. So if it's not running for you this season of the year, but it's snowshoeing or cross-country skiing or whatever it is, the practices are going to work regardless. So that's number 1, is do your best to get outdoors. I'm telling you, there's something like not right that happens on the treadmill. It keeps you stuck. You're like a little rodent on that thing. And I know there are circumstances, but so that's number 1. Number 2 is shift that mentality. Shift it from self-punishment to self-care. Make your daily run not about a workout, but your daily meditative practice, right? Make your run where you do your practice, your personal and spiritual growth and development. If you don't choose to use my practices, just take that mentality with you. And then the third thing, and this is what I suggest in my book, which is pretty much in line with the Mayo Clinic, is I'm telling people 25 minutes or more a day. And there's some research behind 25 minutes is where the cardiovascular benefits start to kick in. So 25 minutes or more, at least 4 days a week. Every day would be fantastic. If you live someplace cold, you might not want to get outside every day, right? But at least 4 days a week, because there's 7 days in a week, and 4 days is you're doing it more days than you're not, and that's important. That's when it becomes a habit and a practice. So those are my 3 tips.
Awesome. Quick summary, 3 tips.
So my quick summary 3 tips is get outside, make it a self-care practice, and 25 minutes a day, 4 days a week.
At least 4 days a week. And, 5 days, 6 days, 7 days are like bonus. But again, if you can do something physical, and maybe running be part of it, 4 days a week, but do something else, brisk walk, something with physical activity, that's going to increase your health. It's going to increase your happiness, as Carrie told us, for a whole bunch of different reasons. You're going to have to pick up her book. You're going to have to buy her book. Easy enough. The link's there at Amazon, and you can take advantage of the link. Has the bonuses attached to it, correct, Carrie, right now? So if people go to that link, replay or in live right now, click on that link, and if that for some reason doesn't work, go to thespinecoach.com, click on the show, which is Healthier, Happier You show, and find this episode, and all the references are right there. So thank you so much there, Carrie, for being on the show. It's been awesome. There's some great stuff that you shared with us, stuff that we didn't necessarily wouldn't think of, like your responses have been. And your audience is going to get broader and broader as people talk about you and share this your book, and start looking into your program and taking your program, Run Yourself Happy. I love that. It is a brilliant title, so congratulations on that launch. How can people follow you otherwise?
So my suggestion is just circle me on Google+. So because you're going to find me at Alan's website, thespinecoach.com. He's explained how to go through there and get to all the links that you need. But yeah, if you want to stay in touch, circle me on Google+. Right.
Yeah, Google Plus is where it's at for lots of engagement and lots of quality content. So at this time, I'm going to give you the call to action, and we're going to wrap up the show. So my call to action this week is to join. I give you the offer, and please do join the Healthier, Happier You community. I've created a community to raise awareness for health and happiness, and in this community, it's a Google Plus community, and if you're not sure how to do that, in your Google Plus, you just go to the left-hand side where your profile is, and you click that, and you'll see several choices. You go to communities, and you simply search Healthier, Happier You. It'll come up. You click that. It'll take you to the community after the search, and then you just join it. So circle the community and join and comment, post something, and put it out there. It's brand new, so there's not a huge amount of content yet, and we hope, Carrie, that you will join the community and post up a link for your bonus and offer. We'd love to have you there. So share that. That's the call to action this week. And please consider sharing the Healthier, Happier You community, because it's so easy to share great stuff like Carrie's program, this show, all kinds of stuff on Google Plus. So easy, and please do so. So until next week's show will be another fantastic show. If you want to follow me, then of course thespinecoach.com is the best place, and there'll be links to following and communicating with me. So it's about that time to wrap up the show for today. I want to give again a special thank you to you, Carrie, for being on my show. It's awesome. You're doing some great stuff, some innovative stuff, and it's been great getting to know you, and of course meeting you live in person a couple weeks ago. That was awesome in sunny Southern California.
Yes, thanks, Alan.
It's sunny here too. It's just not quite as warm. It's my belief that each one of you can live a healthier, happier life. How, you say? By simply learning and applying things like today, Run Yourself Happy, healthier lifestyle habits, and put them into practice so that every day you become that person that you deserve to be, that healthier, happier you. Once again, be sure to go to thespinecoach.com, find out more about me, this show, and my online programs. Keep in touch. See you next week. Thanks for watching. I'm Dr. Alan Chong, the Spine Coach. Bye for now.